I didn't react when he said it. His voice cut between us, thin and cruel, as though my hurt were nothing more than a loose screw he had no interest in tightening. His mother hovered behind him, smug as ever, clutching the same wooden spoon she used on me when he wasn't around. They called it discipline. The real word was abuse, but truth had never been welcome in that house. Only obedience. And I no longer owed them either. So when he insisted I had nowhere to go, I smiled. Small. Quiet. Sharp enough to make him falter for a heartbeat. "I'll go back to my parents' home," I said. His scowl was instant. "You don't have." But I was already walking away. He never knew. He never cared to. He married the version of me he could mold, not the woman I had folded carefully behind lock and bone. Back then, when grief soaked through every part of me after losing my parents in what the world dismissed as a forgettable accident, his presence felt like warmth. He filled the silence with promises and steady hands. He called me capable, brilliant, a miracle. I didn't realize then that affection can mask possession. His mother despised me from the start. I wasn't compliant enough, desperate enough, wounded enough for her liking. He told me to be patient. She'll soften, he insisted. She never did. The betrayal didn't arrive as a storm. It crept. Longer nights out. A phone that never left his pocket. A gentle tone reserved for one name, Lena. A crimson lipstick stain on his shirt one afternoon. I don't wear lipstick. Neither does his mother. I held the collar up. He shrugged. A coworker hugged me too long. Calm down. Calm down, another chain disguised as reassurance. I didn't argue. Didn't cry. Didn't beg. I simply watched. Missed calls at dawn. Deleted threads. Sudden trips. Enough signs to shatter the last illusion I clung to. I didn't break. I recalculated. He forgot that my life revolved around analyzing data, patterns, human behavior. He forgot that quiet was my natural language. I collected evidence, clean, careful, untraceable. Photos. Bank logs. Insurance papers. Recordings of his mother's threats caught through the baby monitor they thought I wasn't aware of. And then I reached for the people he believed didn't exist anymore. My parents. Because they weren't gone. They had disappeared deliberately, fleeing a corrupt relative who tried to siphon our inheritance years ago. They begged me to come, but I stayed for school. They told me to reveal nothing until the moment was right. That moment finally arrived. I slipped out of his house without noise or theatrics. My parents welcomed me into their arms, their home, and the safety I had forgotten. Together we revived dormant accounts, moved funds, erected legal barricades. My family's wealth, old, deep-rooted, solid, rose quietly to the surface. With the proper documents, we froze everything my husband and I shared. Every bank card. Every investment he bragged about. Every dollar he poured into impressing a woman who wasn't me. By morning he couldn't access a cent. 3 weeks later I returned, not as his spouse but as a reckoning with a folder in hand. He looked smaller, frazzled, afraid. "Where were you?" he barked. "Home," I replied. "With my parents." "You don't have." I slid the folder toward him. Proof of his affair. Proof of his mother's cruelty. Notices of frozen accounts. Divorce papers. I watched the color drain from his face as he turned each page. "You orchestrated all of this," he whispered. "I lived through all of this," I corrected. His mother burst into the room, ready to spew her usual poison, until I handed her the restraining order with her name printed boldly across the top. She recoiled. For once, both of them were silent. I walked out without a glance behind me, feeling lighter than air. He once told me I had no place to go. He was wrong. I had roots older than his lineage, a family stronger than his pride, and love that had quietly protected me for years. Most of all, I had myself back. As the door clicked shut, I felt the last chain he tried to fasten around me snap apart. Justice didn't roar. It didn't thrash. It was deliberate, patient, and it was exquisitely satisfying.